Welcome, Traveler. Poison. Get quite the buff this league. Bosses are simply melting in front of your eyes. And as you're pushing through areas with your poison grenades, your poison is spreading from enemy to enemy to enemy as they die. One grenade can pretty much clear a whole zone. For all of this to work, we only need three things. We gotta make ourselves a ranger because we want to be a pathfinder. Then we need a crossbow because we're gonna be playing the gas grenade instead of any kind of poison arrow. And lastly, we want the plague fingers because the plague fingers say all damage from hits contribute to poison magnitude. Don't worry, you don't need them at level 1, but what they do is they turn the lightning damage from this crossbow into poison magnitude. The flat damage on this prismatic ring, poison magnitude. And right now the difference is quite crazy. We're sitting at 6,000 damage per second, and we can have 6 stacks of that on the opponent. Without the gloves, we're sitting at 1,114. Yep, good thing the plague fingers only cost 1 damage salted orb, that's it. This video is going to cover the starter part of the build from level 1 to 65, and we're going to swap to full poison around level 32. No worries, as we play this further all the way to level 90, killing pinnacle bosses will then get you the updated endgame guide. Step 1, as we said before, make yourself a ranger because we need to become a pathfinder. Step 2, grab yourself a Renly because we're going to level with a crossbow. And the first 3 skills we're using in this order are the permafrost bolts together with the fragmentation rounds and then also the explosive grenade. With the permafrost bolts and the fragmentation rounds, you can vab, freeze someone, then swap over to the fragmentation rounds and boom, go for a super splintering attack. That works so good against bosses in the beginning and all the way through Act 1. As your supports, you want pierce, so your freezing actually shoots through enemies. And the multi-shot on the explosive grenades. Empty your multi-shot, then permafrost them, then fragmentation round, boom. And in order to permafrost them easier, we're going for the Vap double barrel, together with a magnified area on the explosive grenade. With this, we're taking down the Rusted King for our tier 3 skill gem, and there we're getting the skill that we're going to use to clear every area until level 32. And that's our good friend, the Flash Grenade. That one is going to get you the multi-shot and also bleed support because the flash grenade does quite some physical damage. With these skills, you're going to run through an area, everything is tailing you, flash grenade into them, explosive. If there's a big elite, you can vap, permafrost that one, but you won't actually need to do that because your flash and explosive grenades are already taking care of everything. And with a tier 5 gem, we're then able to add gas grenade to the fray. We're not looking to play poison yet. What we want to do is we want to break armor with corrosion. And with another multi-shot gem, you get 3 poison grenades. And since we're now breaking armor with that corrosion, you can get rid of the permafrost bolts. And instead, we're using the newly buffed high velocity rounds that pierce enemies, and if they have fully broken armor, give them riven armor. Riven armor has them soak up damage and then boom, get even more damage. High velocity rounds get rapid attacks and also multi-shot, so they shoot 3 times at the same time into that broken armor. The fragmentation rounds, not needed anymore as well. These 4 skills are now the only things you need until level 32. You get a flash grenade, if anything survives, explosive grenade follow-up, high velocity rounds, and if there's bigger packs, for example, the fissures, gas grenade, explosive grenade, flash, gas, explosive, flash, big elite, high velocity. Nothing is going to be an issue. Your Ascension, that boss, just falling to his knees. As your Ascension, you're then choosing Pathfinder, and we should talk about your passives. Since the passives are quite tricky, we're starting here on the Ranger side with the projectile damage instead of on the Mercenary side, but we still have to make it all the way to Cluster Bombs and the Grenadier. Now we could go down the direct route, but I don't think that is a way that would be worth it. Instead, we're going to pick up a lot of projectile damage all the way to this point. If you notice that you're lacking strength after 4 points for a crossbow, you're going to take strength here. And as you then make your way all the way to this last projectile damage, we're going to put the 2 strength nodes on this side. Go further with the dexterity and then pick up the attack damage and the elemental damage, which brings us then further down the line for even more elemental damage. That's huge. This is a great boost to what you're doing. Now you're going to travel all the way. This is like literally all the way with dexterity and strength alternating down to the side, until you get to the cluster bombs and the Grenadier. And as you actually get to cluster bombs and Grenadier, we're going to pull these 4 points that gave us damage out so you can make yourself quicker to the location of the cluster bombs. And then you're going to go around for the Grenadier. In the beginning, you can also go just this way, but you want to have the double cooldown recovery nodes over the actual area of effect in the long run. And as we then have these two, we can also pick up volatile grenades for that 25% reduced grenade detonation time. Here I want to say that with weapon set 1, you should be taking the grenade detonation time, and with weapon set 2, you should take the rapid reload, because your high velocity rounds can now reload faster, while your grenades are exploding sooner. No worries, these are going to be the only weapon swap points for now. More weapon swap comes after level 65. The first two Ascendancy points should go into poison effects, magnitude of poison goes up, and also the contagious contamination. The most damaging poison on enemies you kill is spread to other enemies within 1.5 meters. And as you then have that part of the Ascension, you can stop throwing explosive grenades for clearing. You're going to go gas grenade stun, gas grenade stun, gas grenade stun, because that takes care of anything. If the stun grenade doesn't already kill them, the gas grenade will do the rest and then spread to the other enemies. Especially if you already have the Plague Fingers in the beginning, this thing you can wield from level 4 on. And with rings having then 3 to 6 cold damage, 1 to 3 physical, 5 to 9 cold fire, whatever, you're already stacking quite some poison magnitude. And don't worry if your crossbow actually has lightning damage, because that also fuels the poison magnitude. Just make sure that you don't get too much fire damage, because then you're going to ignite the enemies and they're going to explode your poison. With your next skill points, you then want to pick up poison damage, 40% increased poison duration, and also +1 to poison on the target. They can only get 1 instance of poison currently, now it's 2 instances of poison. Everything your Plague Fingers are boosting, ×2 pretty much. On top, we want to swap out the multi-shot for the deadly poison. This is what makes us do less damage, but 75% more magnitude of poison inflicted with supported skills. Quite hefty. Might have not mentioned this, but until now you've been playing the Herald of Ash as your spirit skill. It's a great spirit skill. It goes for overkill explosions. Now obviously as we start playing more of the gas grenade, those overkill explosions are becoming a hindrance. And you could swap out the Herald of Ash around level 26, 28 for the Withering Presence, which will wither enemies around you. They take more chaos damage, up to 50% more. Now you're going to say, but Pony, surely that's not going to work against Act 2 bosses very well. It is. We're mostly focusing on that gas grenade together with a flash grenade, and then your high velocity rounds. In between, there's still some explosive grenades, as they just scale really well with what we're doing. But slow and steady, the gas grenades are just doing more and more damage, especially as you then get these flat elemental damage stats that really multiply nicely upwards. Our next big step is getting all the way to this node, because this gives you +1 poison again, and then with our second ascension, we're doubling that up. 6 stacks of poison on the enemy. Now obviously, in order to get all the way to this one, it's quite a travel. So what you're going to do instead is, you're going to get yourself the stat point over here, and we're picking up more poison magnitude, and more poison magnitude, as we're then traveling through this with strength, dexterity, intelligence, whatever you need to make it work on your skills. And again, poison on hit, more poison magnitude, and poison. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. If you get into the 7-point range of building toxins, right? We're getting all the way to the jewel. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to pull all of these out again, and boom, slam instantly into that building toxins. What you would want to have in the end is all of these nodes. And the only node you don't want to have is the first two, because that's chance to poison on hit, useless. But you really want very quick to get to the building toxins. Since another poison stack means that all your poison damage, 100% more. And then if you double that up, 200% more. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. For that doubling up, you need to take care of the Chaos Trials. And bosses are quite easy for you at this point. You're trying to be around them for that wither, you're spamming your gas grenades and your stuns, plus the high velocity voms, and they're just falling over. Those next 2 points are then invested into the poison effect and double up the amount of toxins you have on the enemy. And we're adding on top of the Withering Presence, the gas grenade flash. We're not really playing the explosive at this point anymore. The Despair Curse. Yes, Despair Curse for -case resistance. Together with Prolonged Duration to have it up longer, and also Heightened Curse. The Withering Presence itself gets the Prolonged Duration, so you just have that Withered buff longer up and can stack it better. And the first Jeweler's Orb you're getting in Act 3, you invest into your gas grenade. We got corrosion, we got deadly poison. We're going to upgrade deadly poison to deadly poison number 2. And then you're adding elemental armament on top. We could also go for the persistent ground, but that's more when the perfect jeweler's orb hit. Now you might feel like, Pony, we never talked about any kind of defense and you don't seem to also have very much. And that is true. At this point, you haven't invested a single point into evasion rating anything because you don't need it. You're stunning enemies, they're falling on the ground. And as they try to stand up, they get poisoned and die. And then spread the poison and the rest dies as well. You simply don't need defense. You're agile, you're always up front, you're always attacking. Nothing can stop you. What you're looking for equipment-wise in the beginning, mostly evasion rating stuff. Armor and evasion rating doesn't hurt as well. You want to have that evasion rating. Later, we're going for evasion rating and energy shield, as that really works nicely together, especially with Ghost Dance and also Wind Dancer. But for that, we need more spirit. Your goal in the next levels will be to get as much poison magnitude as possible. Flash that out. Wherever you can get poison magnitude, we're going to be grabbing that. More poison magnitude, and then here on the side as well, more poison magnitude. This is like fire, right? This is poison on hit. We don't need it. We want all the poison magnitude available, which then gets followed up actually by finally energy shield. And then we're moving all the way over here with intelligence, strength, dexterity, whatever you need for even more energy shield into the skill speed and also more energy shield. That's going to make you super tanky. But here we're sitting already at the end with level 65. Support gem wise on the gas grenade, we're adding the persistent ground to make it be always there, to always spread like crazy. And at this point, you can also remove the corrosion. I kind of dropped it at level 55. And we can play the elemental focus. This has your gas grenade not be able to ignite anyone or anything anymore, but it's another 25% bonus damage. And the bonus is significant. I mean, without elemental focus, it's 5,000. And with elemental focus, we're sitting at that 6,155 poison magnitude. And at the point where we're dropping the corrosion, you also don't need your high velocity rounds anymore. It's going to be gas grenade, flash grenade, gas grenade, flash grenade, gas grenade, flash. And that already clears the levels. At this point, I throw gas grenade in front of me, just run, and everything kind of dies behind me. If I get surrounded, if mobs are close to me, if I'm in a very stupid situation, I throw the flash grenade and everyone just falls to the ground and can't move anymore. On bigger enemies and bosses, the despair curse otherwise stay close with withered and they just die to your poison like there's no tomorrow. As you're then getting your bonus spirit skills and beating the interlude acts, we're looking to add Wind Dancer to the fray and also the Ghost Dance. These two will boost your evasion rating that you then, with the Ghost Dance, also get more energy shield back on hit. As we're going for the energy shield and evasion rating gear, the energy shield gear, and the evasion rating over here. Because you need some evasion rating that your Ghost Dance can actually also restore energy shield for you. With compressed duration, your Ghost Dance is even quicker at building up those Ghost Shrouds. And your Despair Curse desperately wants to have that efficiency gem, so you don't have to pay that much anymore for cursing enemies. Our goals to take this to the next level are going to be getting rings that have a lot of flat elemental damage. Like tons, we're talking about like 20 to 40 flat elemental damage, as that all translates right over to poison magnitude. The weapon is already surprising good. All that lightning damage just goes over to that poison magnitude. Even the 109% increased elemental damage with attacks does go over to the poison magnitude, which kind of surprised me, but hey, I'll take it. And in the skill tree, we're probably aiming to use weapon swap points to work in the direction of curses up here. Because if I now use all the weapon swap points, one for poison damage, for example, for all my poison magnitude stuff, then I can use the other weapon points to move for curses, because I want my curse to be as dangerous as possible, that they barely have any resistance left. And there's one skill we haven't actually talked about. And that would be the new Toxic Domain, which is quite crazy. It says create an area of toxic bloom on the ground around you. While the bloom, you have increased skill cost, regenerated life, and your projectile attacks attach toxic pustules, which can be poisoned. Pustules will detonate after duration or when enough poison has been applied, dealing more damage based on the stored poison damage. For this, you want to have deadly poison as well, then the escalating poison, so there's even another stack of poison applied to the enemy. And you actually want to have long fuse, because this counts as a detonation, which means it's going to stay up longer and then do even more damage as it detonates. This has us versus bosses. Curse them, put the Toxic Domain on the ground next to them, start throwing grenades, flashes, and the gas grenades, and suddenly, boom, the Toxic Domain erupts on top and their HP just vanishes away. We already started playing this in maps and it has been nothing but a blessing zooming through. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Would Toxic Pathfinder be something for you? The poison gameplay? Can I count on you trying this out? Although, and as I said, no worries. We're taking this all the way to level 85, 90, 4th Ascension, 3rd Ascension, all that kind of stuff to show you the further progress and power. Tell me in the comments below if you're going to give this a try. And also, if you knew all these 8 new secrets that they introduced with the 3rd Edict. Enjoy and have a great day.